We are here at the manor house of Constantia Glen, and the estate has a rather illustrious history, I would say. Originally, from my family side, it was bought by my grandfather in the late 50s. He actually bought it in 3 pieces in those days. And from what we know, at rather reasonable prices, I have to say. Once it was in the ownership of our family, he actually didn't do very much with it. And it was only in the mid-90s, after actually our family moved back to the farm, that we decided to convert it. And there were actually a few options which we had to convert it into, but after we spoke to all the experts and had some soil analysis done, it was pretty clear that the way for us to go was to do wine. I mean, obviously from a region here, this has been wine producing country for 325 years, and so it was very made to us very clear that this is the right way to go forward. It also fitted in very nicely with the family history of drinking wine and loving wine, and because we had always been drinking Bordeaux wines, for us it was very clear that we would start and convert it into a wine farm mainly based on Bordeaux grapes, which we still have today. It's 2 varietals on the white wine, Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon, and on the red wine it's Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot and Malbec.
Standing at 275 meters above sea level in the Constantia Valley here on the Constantiaberg Mountain. The oldest valley in South Africa, and indeed in the new world of wine, and also one of the coolest and smallest areas, comprising something like 400 hectares of vines today. Constantia is famous for wine, and here on Constantia Glen we are focusing within that 400 hectares, us being 29.5 hectares under vine, are focusing on the classic Bordeaux varieties and Sauvignon Blanc. We specialize in making the very best of Bordeaux blends, Constantia Glen 5 as we call it, with 5 varieties, and a Constantia Glen 3 with 3 varieties. Also Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon.
When we bring our wine down into the barrel cellar, each of the individual blocks of vineyard are kept separate. So we will not co-ferment Merlot and Cabernet, we will not co-ferment Petit Verdot and Malbec. We keep every single vineyard block separate, and when we bring them down for aging in the barrel cellar, we age all of the components separately as well. So we know and understand and have developed a history of all of the individual blocks. At the end of the 18 months of maturation, we will take out samples of all of the different components. And some blocks will go into 2 or 3 different coopers. So we could end up having 50 to 80 samples of wine for making up our blends. And we will take those up into the tasting room, and we will sit down over a period of 2 to 3 days, and we will taste exhaustively through those samples to understand the nuance of each individual component. And then from that, we are able to discern styles that the grapes and the blocks and the wines themselves show us. We try not to force a style on the wine. We try to actually learn and work with the styles that each individual block gives us. So at the end of the day, we are dividing our wine samples that we have into 2 different stylistic approaches. One, the Constantia Glen 5, is a round, supple, dense, probably not as structured as the Constantia Glen 3, but still full and rich. Where the Constantia Glen 3, we are looking for something that is tighter, leaner, more restrained, a wine that generally reflects the Medoc style of Bordeaux blends, with minerality as a streak running right through the wine. Our Constantia Glen 5, without a doubt, is more Pomerol Merlot based in terms of its flavor profile, not necessarily makeup of varieties. But we're looking there at a wine that is richer and rounder and supple with really good density. And we will make up the blends in a test batch, obviously. And once we have decided and we present it to the owners of the farm and everyone is in agreement that we have the correct blend made up, we will then, at the end of the following year's harvest, make up the wine from the actual barrels. We'll make up the wine, put it into tank. The Constantia Glen 5 will come back down into barrel for further aging, and the Constantia Glen 3 will go on to be bottled.